Hello everyone, this is Nada Serafimovic. I'm a children's book illustrator from Belgrade, Serbia, and kind of crazy person who likes to experiment and loves YouTubers who are showing off their art. And I'm a big fan of TenHundred, if you didn't know, and I suppose you didn't know. And right after watching his video that appeared on YouTube, even like it was October. I mean, I literally started the same day to ask him or in the comments below, and he answered to go for it. And I just said, yeah, I didn't do this for the longest time since I graduated 2010. Nothing inspired me like more to do of that stuff. Nobody was looking for that. I think nobody's looking for something doing from scratch without pencil, without sketching, without negotiating. So that's kind of practical side of things that pushed me out of it. And then when I saw the video, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do my own thing, and I'm gonna join his community and contribute in a really appreciative way. I want to appreciate all that he has done for the art community on YouTube. And yeah, I would love to become a patron one day and just see a little bit more of his behind the scenes that he shows only to patrons. But he is so like really open to share almost everything on YouTube. I believe he has such a great impact on mural artists all around the world. And even if it has an impact on me, which I don't work on murals, I always wanted to, but probably not too much to embrace the challenge, to take that challenge, to take that step. And I love the way he's illustrating. His characters are so rich, and he has a kind of crazy kind of imagination that I can really relate to. I can reflect on that. And yeah, I just started something that is not 21 hours because I'm a little bit faster. I love bigger strokes, and I do love leaving some kind of a space on the paper to speak, like negative space speaking for the positive like ink space, and to kind of let's say like for the eye to have some place to rest. Although I do understand why TenHudred did it. It's a huge challenge, and he really pushed his boundaries, and he really pushed himself to see what he can do, and he always does that. He amazes me. So this is kind of a TenHun tribute, like a big way, and I really do want to. I hope he will successfully receive this original ink that I'm doing right now. I want to send him as a gift. I'll just use a scan maybe for some future merchandise, or I don't know, but I really wanted him to have an original. So yeah, thumbs up for that. TenHudred, you really inspire people. And what I also wanted to talk about is why do I follow TenHudred? I think I don't know if many people express that, or this is just something that is, yeah, he's TenHun, everybody follows him and worship him and appreciate he's a really hard worker. For me, the something that really stuck with me was his personality, because he is never afraid to talk about his ups and downs. He was never he never had a wish to present himself in a way that is better than real. And he is hardworking, speaking for himself, but also he does have that tremendous like wonderful working routine that even makes him space to make videos and present the process of making murals. And doing such a like huge thing, like muraling, for me that is a big deal. I'm absolute fan of street art, and I think it was popular all through the history in different ways, like since, I don't know, since forever. And now it's happening in a big way, in a very nice way. And I also followed his tour, but I couldn't come to Vienna to see him. That was the nearest point in Europe, and I was literally a month before in Vienna for some unfortunate computer crash repair center, and it wasn't a good timing. I couldn't afford to come again after a month to Vienna, and I was I was so sad because yeah, he was so near. I was also wondering if I could borrow a wall for him to come to Belgrade, but I don't have apartment for him to crash it. I just live in a 20 square meter apartment. It's just the wishes above the abilities, and opportunity was not good this time. But maybe I will be a host in the future. Who knows? Who knows? I'm really glad that everybody else did, and that he had a great time. He had also a hard-working Europe tour, but I think the experience he had in Europe, he could probably not have in US. The same way, like us European people could not have USA experience here. So I think he's a richer man now. And yeah, let's talk a little bit about artwork. So I do love composing impossibly unrelated items and pushing, like making them stand one by another and then somehow make them work together. This is totally unrealistic. There is no perspective. It's just like a collage, but I still wanted to make some kind of a composition. So we can see probably here now that I am kind of a, let's say, going around, flipping out the paper. I wanted to not to stay stuck and go from left to right like TenHundred, because that's too disciplined for me, as I'm always chasing the composition, whatever I'm working on, and especially when I'm painting and inking something for myself. So I just wanted to show a little bit of different approach that this is like normal for me. And I think I learned that from a painter when I was preparing for academy. She's wonderful. She's Mirjana, a very creative person, and she also asked us if we want to look for mistakes, to look in our artwork in the mirror, or just flip it like 180 degrees, and it instantly becomes visible. And the same with some kind of pieces like this, where everything is complex and not realistic, and you just need to refresh your eyes because you're stuck. Also, while the ink was kind of still fresh, I didn't want to lose time because I was so inspired by his video, and I just started, like rotating the canvas, the paper, and trying to put some elements which will later become unique composition. So I think that's it's kind of a 4 to 5 hours of work, and yeah, that's not 21 hours. That's not that much. I wish I contributed and did that for 21 hours, but no, that was just I just used my inspiration for as long as I had it, and also tried to be consistent and finish it the same day. And yeah, the moment I started, from that moment until I finished, I hardly stopped. And I think that kind of impulse that it gave me made such a weird choices standing by each other. And yeah, as you can see, probably I do love drawing birds, and my brand is Beggy Bird with my merchandise, because I live in Belgrade, and Belgrade's mascot is Sparrow, and there's a legend about it from a war that freed Belgrade from Turkey and blah blah blah. But generally I love birds, and all from my ancestry, they were totally in love with birds for some reason. So Yeah, maybe it's genetics, who knows. So you can see probably some repeating motifs in a different form, and you can see something totally like, what's this? Some very crazy shapes that go from one to another, connecting the shapes that you can actually recognize what they are. I also love to implement, like I made a let's say a poison or perfume vintage bottle, and I put a door on it. I do like the Alice kind of themed illustration that is more free than it's just for a storybook. I do love taking inspiration from Lewis Carroll's books and many others. I love Borges, I love poetry from Spain. So everything I read definitely gives me crazy ideas like this, and I'm sure a lot of artists do the same, especially with poetry. If you're someone who likes to read poetry, and especially from some that is like 19th century and until this time, which has a hint of psychedelia, you know, more or less, you really just get inspired in a different way by reading each book, like every time different. And that's all about art. It's very interactive. I got inspired by TenHun murals, and I decided also, I cannot wait to collect some bucks because I have my family home that has an outer wall which is constantly being destroyed by kids who are just writing something in terrible colors like their names or swearing or whatever. So I don't like that, and I really, every time I come there, because they're just getting a little bit of white paint over and it's still visible, and I hate how it looks. And then I realized, oh wow, I can just take the coating, like to wash out the future, some anti-graffiti coating to prevent it, but still I can fix the wall like to the perfection and then paint it. And because I did fight a little bit of fights to get a mural in downtown Belgrade and I didn't get it, why not to do it on my wall and on my family home, if nothing else? And it will definitely, I think, contribute to the neighborhood, which is wonderful, and people hopefully will love it. And it will be something like the ink you see here, but I wanted to do a little bit more painterly with more pastel colors and less ink looking, definitely, that's for sure, because then you have a lot of percentage of black and it's not really calming, it's a little bit more poof, what's this? So I want to do something very pastel-y and to have a calming effect, because it's a pretty dynamic location, but it's also a nice neighborhood. Yes, so all the inspiration from TenHun, that's a lot of inspiration. What should I say? He's a really inspiring guy. I don't know much about his art education. I think he doesn't even have one. He's self-educated, but talent is something that appears sooner or later if you do your effort and if you practice something, perfect something, and that's what happened with him. He's really recognized, and I'm so glad every time I see he's sponsored, that somebody is pledging and patroning and giving money for him to do what he really likes and he wants. So yeah, cheers to that. This is that kind of video that just we talk about TenHun. So let's say about tools. This is arch paper, arches. I bought it in Paris. I don't use it because I'm so afraid, because it's too good quality. And then I decided, yeah, I will just use one and give it to TenHun, because it will look nice and it will be very let's say long life present, because it's not on just ordinary copy paper or something. And I find it very like a good choice that I made. Yeah, like what else? There's so much to say, and there is not so much footage left. This is like a voiceover. So this is filmed in October, and now, you know, the date is like February. I went for Japan 2 months. If you watch on Mondays, it will be like Monday for Japan vlogs, my sticker tours and sketchbook tours. Update on my sketchbook progress, that I did that for 2 months. I'm really satisfied. It really gave me something. Like, I expanded my visual library, and I'm so like crazy proud how we made it to go to Japan for that long. I think Japan inspires a lot of artists in a unique way, and that they have a tradition that is very related to ink, so I'm always drawn to it. And I think it is very hard to get art visa, and I didn't want to spend my lifetime waiting for that. I just wanted to go and see Japan and get inspired and draw a lot from reference. So I did that. You can see it also on Mondays, and on Tuesdays there will be character designs that are inspired directly from my trip to Japan. I think they will be pretty interesting because I will be explaining a lot of process and how I see characters on the streets, and then how they become actual character designs. I think that would be my challenge for 2020, to really push my shapes, to push the storyline, so that when you see character designs and props and landscapes, you see the story right away. And yeah, I never did that. I actually just always jump onto a blank canvas in Photoshop and just paint the entire illustration by sketching it, and then it's just so good to be more studying before starting doing the actual piece. So yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, thank you to Han. I'm tagging here, I'm leaving his links. And I also have reopened my Etsy shop. If you want to look at my merch, there are some crazy and some cute designs, some vintage designs. So if you're in, just go for it. And thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Bye.